What's up guys, my name is Natalie and welcome to a new reading vlog. Today is December 4th and I've definitely been meaning to start this vlog for a few days now, but lo and behold, it hasn't happened yet. So I actually have quite a lot of things to tell y'all. I'm gonna start off by telling y'all what I'm currently reading. So first off, I'm still listening to the audiobook for The Devil's Thief by Lisa Maxwell and I'm really enjoying that one still. I'm roughly 2/3 of the way in, maybe a little bit further than that, and I don't have a ton to say about that, but I am liking it a lot. The main thing that I'm reading right now though is The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot. I am reasonably close to the end of this. It doesn't look like it as much, but there's definitely a good chunk of the end that I don't have to read because it's extra stuff. I'm probably 2/3 of the way through and I'm still mad about it falling apart as I read it. It's still doing that. I'll open this sometimes and then literally it'll almost spill onto the ground. I still have to write an essay on this for school. The other thing that I'm reading is She Who Became the Sun. I read the first chapter of this and I like it so far. I'm trying to focus on Henrietta Lacks so that I can get that done and write my essay on that, and then I can actually focus on reading She Who Became the Sun. Like I was about to say a minute ago, gotta write my essay for this. And speaking of essay, this weekend total, including the things that I've already gotten done so far, I had 5 essays and a 3-page research paper to write this weekend. It's not just the 5 essays and the 3-page research paper. There's also other smaller things that I have to do. There's that. So most of my weekend is going to be spent doing that, and hopefully I can get at least most of it done. Another thing, the storage on my phone has been running out so awfully. I will literally have 3 minutes to film something and then I'll have to put it on my computer and then film another 3 minutes because I literally just do not have the space to film more than that. But I realized something that is so helpful. I can undownload my audiobooks and they're still in my library. I can always download them and re-listen to them. I don't have to actually have all of them downloaded to my phone and taking up a bunch of storage space, which is super extremely helpful, especially considering one of the books that I had downloaded was War and Peace, which was 60 hours long. Another thing about filming is I don't know why I did not think to do this before, but you probably noticed that I turned my phone sideways so that it will be the rectangle shape going the right way instead of the weird up and down. Why can't I think of words? It's portrait versus landscape or whatever. You know what I'm talking about though. The other thing, I don't know if I'm going to be able to post a video on this Monday because like I said, I have a mountain of homework that I have to get done. But then I definitely don't think that I will be able to post anything next Monday though after that because I have a thing next weekend. It is going to take up all of my time. The one that I'm posting then is my November vlog, so that'll be up well into December, unfortunately, but that's fine. That being said though, I might be able to post more videos towards the second half of December because obviously that is during the holidays and stuff, and so I will have a lot more free time. I will see what I can do with that. I have had some that I've been meaning to film for a while, but I just haven't because I've been skipping weeks and then just getting up the main videos, which are vlogs and TBRs. If y'all saw my December TBR, then you know this, but for the month of December, I'm not actually having my reel and having a set TBR. I'm just going to, after I finish a book, I'm going to spin my reel and have it pick something for me, and I'm going to pick as I go instead of having a TBR because it's been kind of stressful and I just kind of wanted to give myself a little bit of a break from that, and I think that I'm going to start doing that maybe every other month because it is kind of fun, but then also doing my regular reel thing is kind of fun too, but we shall see. I think that that is all that I have for right now to tell you guys. I'll let you know at some point in the future where I'm at with my reading and my life. I'll catch you guys later. Hey guys, so today is the 16th and I finished Henrietta Lacks last night and I'm really excited about it. I feel like I say that after every time I finish a book. I'll just go, I finished this and I'm excited about it. The reason that I'm excited that I finished this book is not really that I enjoyed it, it's just because it's over. I gave it 1.5 stars. I mean, it was kind of interesting, I guess. It just isn't something that I would have picked up had I not have to read it for school. It's basically about the scientist who took this girl's cells without telling her and they became immortal. They have been the cause for a lot of scientific advancements and a lot of medical breakthroughs and things like that. It was not something that interested me that much and I just didn't really care about it, but I'm glad that it's over so that I can move on to more exciting things now. If you've seen the video where I picked my books for December, then you know that I spun my wheel 2 different times for the next book. One of them I landed on fantasy and picked Howl's Moving Castle, and I've started reading this. I'm 47 pages in, which sounds like a lot. I feel like I have not read that much because it just looks like a small amount. I am enjoying this so far. It's more middle grade than I thought when I first got this, but also looking at the text, that's not crazy surprising because it's huge. It's an interesting story. I don't have too much to say about it so far. I'm definitely enjoying this. And then the other thing that I spun was between 250 and 450 pages, and I picked the Percy Jackson Illustrated edition for that. I should have that pretty soon. So as soon as I finish up this, I can get straight into that one. And I really wanted to read Crank by Ellen Hopkins because I just got that from my guy best friend for Christmas, and I really want to read it so bad, but I did not land on things that could have gotten it for me, and I'm really sad about it. But I was thinking, after I read Howl's Moving Castle and the Percy Jackson Illustrated edition, I might pick it up anyway and just not spin my wheel and use it for one of my punishment books, because if y'all remember, the thing that I picked for my punishment book was 4 books that are over 300 pages, I think, and that is 500 pages or something, but it's poetry, so it'll definitely be a lot quicker than a normal 500-page book. I'm at the point now in December where I do not have a crazy ton of things left that I have to do. I might be able to get some extra videos up over the break. I know I've missed a couple of weeks of uploading because, like I said, I've been super busy, but I might be able to catch up on that and maybe get a little bit ahead, but we'll see how things go. That's really all for now, but I will talk to you guys later. Hello everyone. So today's the 22nd of December, and I finished Howl's Moving Castle this morning, and it was a good book. There were definitely a couple things that bothered me about this, specifically the main character being dumb, and it was a little bit confusing too, but also I think that it was supposed to be. I feel like reading this as a child, I would be very lost, but I don't know, I feel like that's kind of the point as well. And nonetheless, I enjoyed this quite a bit. The characters were really entertaining to read about. I gave this one 3.75 stars, so not quite 4 stars. So now I have started Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief Illustrated. I'm really enjoying this one so far. I have tried to read Percy Jackson a couple times before, and I just never really got into it. One of the times I tried listening to an audiobook version, but I'm not really good with audiobooks. I do listen to them sometimes. I have an Audible subscription, so I listen to one every month, but that just wasn't really working well for me, and I'm pretty sure I got about halfway through and just never ended up finishing it. I'm really loving this. The illustrations are so pretty, and I didn't dislike the story before. I just wasn't really in the right mood to read it before, is I think what it was. Hopefully I will continue to enjoy it as much as I am right now. I should be able to get this one done fairly quickly, hopefully maybe by Christmas Eve, and then maybe I can start reading Crank after that. Oh, also I finished listening to The Devil's Thief by Lisa Maxwell, and it was pretty good. I was a little bit lost at the end because I kind of forgot some of the things that had happened, but I still enjoyed it quite a bit. I also gave it 3.75 stars. I definitely am going to read the 3rd book and see how the trilogy finishes up. Another thing is I have a little readathon sort of thing that I'm planning on doing for next year. I don't want to give too much away about that. Also, I got some more books for Christmas. I know it's not Christmas yet, but I still have gotten a couple more books, but I'm not going to show you all those because I think I'm also going to do a Christmas book haul. I think that's everything. I will talk to you guys later. Hello vlog. So today's the 23rd, and I've decided that the time has come to reorganize my bookshelves. And I thought about just doing a separate video for this, but I feel like it'll be easier to put it in my vlog. I just feel like there won't be enough content for a whole video. The plan is putting all of my read books together and my unread books together. The idea of this shelf is kind of my favorite books, or some books that I'm really excited to get to, slash books that look nice on here. But I'd like to elaborate more on the my favorite books part of that and make this just books that I've read and enjoyed, and then have another shelf for books that I've read, and then have all my unread books together, because I feel like it's satisfying moving them from the unread to the read shelf, and also it'll make it easier, I feel like, picking books that I want to read. Beyond that, I really don't know how I want to organize it. This one, I think just however it looks the nicest, because this is the shelf that you see the most of. It's the one that is behind me in all of my videos. I was thinking maybe a rainbow for my unread books, because what I had before was I'd have a rainbow with my read books, and so kind of the point of reading things was so that I can move them to the read part of the shelf. But the problem with that was I didn't have all of my read and unread books separated like that. It was just kind of some of them that were left over from my shelves in my room. It wasn't like I was reading books that often that would go to the rainbow shelf anyway, if that makes sense. I feel like it makes more sense to just go ahead and have a rainbow of unread, even if I am making it less rainbowy by reading those books. But then also I might just do those by what looks nice, or by genre, or I don't really know. It depends. I got a bunch of books. I've gotten some Christmas money that I've spent on some Christmas books for myself. They literally are taking up about half a shelf in there, which is half a shelf that I don't have. I am thinking that I'm probably going to be unhauling some books as well. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to unbuild my book mystery so that I can do that with my shelves. So the first thing I'm gonna do is decide what I'm gonna put on the shelf, and then I'll just go from there. So yeah, let's get started. So it's a couple hours later, and I finally finished redoing all of my shelves. So I do not have a place for these things, but I honestly don't know what I'm gonna do with them, if I'm gonna even keep them or not. They're just little books that come with our generation dolls, if you know what those things are. They're basically off-brand American Girl dolls that I used to collect when I was younger. Another thing is I have this dust jacket here for Forgotten. I'm not really sure what to do with it because it's really ugly. The cover underneath it is pretty, and it fit on my shelves a lot better, so I just took the dust jacket off of it. But I'm not really sure what to do with this now, but again, I'll figure something out for that. And as you can tell, there are a lot of gaps in my shelf right now. That is because a lot of my books are being borrowed by some of my friends. Like I said, I wanted this to be a shelf of some of my favorite books, and whenever I really like books, I give them to my friends to read because I want them to also read the books that I like. So those get borrowed a lot, and I have a lot of those being borrowed right now, and so there are some gaps. But I obviously know kind of what they look like and how big they are, and so what I did for that, if you saw in the time lapse, me just using random books and then taking them out, I was kind of using those as placeholders for certain books to see how much space I had realistically. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I wasn't really sure what to do at one point with a couple of the books because some of them, like The Fault in Our Stars, is just such a bright shade of blue, and I love it so much. It's so pretty. It just doesn't really match with anything. And also Pay It Forward, the cover is really pretty on it, and that's why I had it facing out before, but now I just don't have room for that. But then the spine is just a bright yellow that I don't know what to do with. But like I said, I got that figured out. And then the other books that I have read, I have on the shelf in here, except for two of them, which I put out there, but I'll talk about that in a minute. The books in there are just the ones, not necessarily that I don't like, because I've unhauled the ones that I don't like, or I'm just not particularly attached to, but those are just ones that I thought were pretty good. They're just not good enough to go on the shelf. Out in the hallway, on the big shelf out there, I have my TBR, which I have sorted out. So the first two shelves are series that I either need to finish or just to read, and then the rest are standalones, and they're kind of sorted by color, not rainbow order or anything, but just kind of what I thought looked nice together. And then the other shelf next to that is for my brother's books, which I kind of have been moving some things around with that. Technically, the Red Queen series is my brother's, except for Broken Throne is mine, but I put that on the shelf because I love that series, and I have some of them mixed and mingled a little bit, but that's mostly his books. And so I put the books that I haven't read yet that are his on the TBR shelf, but the ones of his that I have read read, I put on his shelf. All the classics I put on his shelf as well because I didn't have room for them on the other shelf. Now I'll actually show you guys what I'm talking about. So these are my completed shelves. This is one of the ones in my closet. So these are the books that I have already read. They're not really in a particular order other than what I thought looked nice. So I kind of tried to put some colors together that kind of went together. And this is kind of just here because I didn't know what else to do with it. It doesn't really look nice anywhere on the shelf, but as I finish books, I can rearrange things and decide what looks nicest. And I did leave a gap right here for Escape from the Isle of the Lost because I do plan on reading that pretty soon. And so I figured I would leave a space for that. And then down here, the enemy books I am borrowing from my friend, and I just have them vibing down there. But this is normally the shelf that I use for my monthly TBRs, and then those are the Our Generation doll books next to it that I also didn't really know what to do with, so I put them down there. And then this is the dust jacket for Forgotten because, like I said, I took the dust jacket off. And then this is my nice shelf. I tried to measure out the books that my friends are borrowing from me so that the spacing is correct on the shelf. And so obviously there are a lot of big gaps on here because a lot of my books are being borrowed from my friends. But like I said I was going to do, I basically put all of my favorite books on this shelf, and I didn't put anything on here that I haven't read or that I did not enjoy quite a bit. And then the shelves in my hallway, these are my TBR shelves. And so at the top, these first two shelves are my series, and then from Escape from the Isle of the Lost and over, those are kind of series that I need to finish up, and the rest of these are just the entire series because I haven't read any of them. They're not really in any particular order, just kind of, again, what looks nice together. And then these bottom shelves down here are standalones. And then A Book of Spirits and Thieves is on there as well because I don't have the rest of that series. The Star Wars book and The Dragon's Price are books that I've already read, but basically what I'm gonna do, because the shelves in my room are full, is I'm going to start putting books that I finish down there at the bottom, and so then that will hopefully grow as the TBR part of the shelf shrinks. And then over here is just picture books because they just kind of live down there in that corner. And then these are my brother's shelves. I haven't read any of these Percy Jackson books up here, and they're kind of in order of how you're supposed to read them, I'm pretty sure. And then the second shelf here is some of his books that I have already read. There's the Harry Potter ones, and then the Hunger Games, and then just classics after that. And I kind of crammed a couple in the Maze Runner box because it was empty and I didn't have anywhere else to put them. Down here is classics that I haven't read yet, and this bottom shelf is just an assortment of other books of his that I have read, and then plus on the end down here is children's classics that I have already read. So those are all of my shelves completed. Like I said, there is some space still on the classics that I haven't read yet shelf that I'm definitely going to need because I definitely know for sure that I'm getting some more books for Christmas. And one of those that I know for sure is The Priory of the Orange Tree, which if you've seen that book, it is absolutely massive. I had that moment of realization while I was organizing my shelves. When I was just doing my TBR shelf, I saw that there was still like a tiny gap of space at the bottom, and I was like, oh, I have even more space than like what's actually on here. This should be great. Like, this is fantastic. I will have plenty of room. And then I was like, oh god, I have to fit The Priory of the Orange Tree on here. And then I just like panicked for a minute. I was like, this is not going to be enough. But then after I put them all on my brother's shelf, and I realized I still have like half a shelf of space left. In order to make all of that extra space happen, like I said, I did have to unhaul some books. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through what books those were. Like I said, these were just ones that I wasn't particularly attached to or that I just didn't like. I'm not gonna individually talk about these or anything because then I would just do an entire unhaul video if I was gonna do that. So the first one is Learning to Fly by Dana Berkey, which is the first book in the TNT Force Cheer series. If you saw my ranting video, then you know exactly why I'm getting rid of this one. Smile by Raina Telgemeier, I think is how you say it. I'm not 100% sure. Hideout by Gordon Corman. My Life as a Fifth Grade Comedian by Elizabeth Levy. Cinderella by Elizabeth Rudnick. The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. 3 Times Lucky by Sheila Turnage. How to Speak Dolphin by Jenny Warby. Rules by Cynthia Lord. Zipper by Ellen Miles, which is from the Puppy Play series. Heidi by Joanna Spiri, which I know is a classic, but I just didn't love it that much, and also it's the little children's version anyway. And same with Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, although these are really pretty editions of them. And once again, same with Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett, The Call of the Wild by Jack London. This was in my random video too. A Shiloh Christmas by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. I really enjoyed Shiloh, but then this one was just kind of disappointing. Then the Twice Upon a Time trilogy by Wendy Mass, Sleeping Beauty, the one who took a really long nap, Rapunzel, the one with all the hair, and Beauty and the Beast, the only one who didn't run away. Monster by Walter Dean Myers. And the thing with this one is that the story was good, just the way it was told was really confusing. The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot. I cannot wait to get rid of this thing. And last but not least, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. That's all of those. The stack is about to tip over. I also had The Hobbit and White Fang on there, but I think my mom wanted to keep those. I'm not going to rebuild the book mystery, I don't think. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do now. I probably will read a little bit more of The Lightning Thief, which I am enjoying. Hello everyone, it is Christmas Eve. I reorganized my bookshelves yesterday and redid everything and undid my book mystery when I did that. And I did end up deciding to rebuild it, but out of Magic Treehouse books. It looks kind of less like a book mystery and more like a book miss puddle, but that's okay. It's a little bit special looking, but we love it anyway. I haven't read any more of my book, but I have gotten some editing and some other video stuff done. Basically, I'm trying to post 7 videos in the next 4 weeks, which is a lot of things, but I do have a little bit more free time in the next little bit, so hopefully I can get a lot of videos done so that I can have those ready. Hi, today is the 29th. Since I've talked to you, I have done a 24-hour readathon where I finished Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief and read these 2 books. I have also started Crank. I enjoyed Percy Jackson. It was definitely dragging at the end of it after all of the chaotic things happened and it was just kind of wrapping it up. But I gave that one 4 stars and the illustrations in it were so pretty and I loved them and it was a fun time. I'm unhauling this one. I gave it 2.75 stars. It was definitely entertaining in some parts. It's basically about this girl who kidnaps some chickens and also her grandma is going on a trip to Hawaii and she's super mad about it and her second cousin is her arch enemy. Basically, it's a small town drama from a 4th grader. I think it was something that I would have enjoyed a little bit more had I read it when I was younger, but alas, I did not. Escape from the Isle of the Lost, I gave 3.5 stars. I almost just dropped my other books. This one to me just felt repetitive from the 3rd book in the series, Rise of the Isle of the Lost, because it was going back to some stuff with Uma, who was the villain in the 3rd book. There was some stuff with them graduating, which was exciting. The characters in the world are kind of fun, so that's why I still gave it 3.5 stars. It just wasn't necessary. I am loving this one so much. It's very quotable. It's written so prettily because it's in poetry, and just some of the things that this girl is experiencing, I just feel for her so much. And obviously I have not experienced a lot of what she is dealing with, but some of it I'm like, I can only imagine how hard that would be. It's definitely a hard-hitting one. I'm probably gonna cry. Also, it's pretty easy to follow even though it's told in poetry. I am basically just going to be editing for the rest of this week, and then this weekend I think I'm going to try and read as much as I possibly can to get started on my January TBR. Chaos starts after that. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you would like to see the other videos that I post, and comment down below if you have read any of the things that I read this month and your thoughts on them. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.